The Supreme Court has considered two appeals and held in both cases that the time that the workers were permitted to sleep should only be taken into account for calculating whether they were paid the national minimum wage to the extent that they were awake for the purposes of working, and that the entire shift should not be taken into account. The cases concerned two workers who were permitted to sleep at or near their place of work. Mrs. Tomlinson-Blake was a highly qualified support worker who provided care to two vulnerable adults at their home. When she worked at night, she was allowed to sleep but had to remain at her place of work. While sleeping, she had no duties except to attend emergencies. For each night shift, she was paid an allowance and 1 hour's pay at the national minimum rate. Her work was time work. Mr. Shannon was an on-call night care assistant at a residential care home. He was provided with free accommodation at the care home and a fixed amount per week, his work being salaried hours work. The workers sought to recover arrears of wages at the national minimum wage for each hour of their sleep-in shift or sleep-in time on call. The national minimum wage calculation differs depending on whether the work is salaried hours work, time work, output work or unmeasured work. The two Supreme Court appeals were only concerned with salaried hours work and time work. The relevant regulations provide that in general, doing time work and salaried hours work includes when a worker is required to be available at or near his employer's place of business, unless the worker is at home. However, importantly, hours when a worker is available only includes hours when a worker is awake for the purposes of working. The Supreme Court held that the effect of the regulations is that if the worker is permitted to sleep during the shift and only has to respond to emergencies, the hours in question are not included in the national minimum wage calculation for time work and salaried hours work unless the worker is awake for the purposes of working. For more information, do browse this channel and visit my website. Remember that this video is for guidance only and should not be relied upon for specific advice. Also, the law can change. And finally, please subscribe to my channel for updates.